he announced today he's not just maintaining but increasing his tariffs on China, which is one of our largest trading partners. And among the Americans who will almost immediately feel the pain are farmers, because China buys a lot of their product and will slap tariffs on in response.
$1.3 billion in lost farm exports. Can you feel that? American farmers staring at the biggest disaster they've faced in decades. A crisis that's shaking the very foundation of America's heartland. Imagine this. You're driving past miles of full grain silos. Every bushel stuck inside is money. Money you may never see again. It's not just numbers, it's sleepless nights, it's families on the brink. It's the U.S.-China trade war, 2025, the trade war that was supposed to make America stronger, but is now leaving American farmers fighting for survival. This is the harsh reality of the U.S.-China trade war 2025, and it's not just politics, it's survival. Generations of farmers who fed the world are now asking, will we even make it through this season? From sleepless nights, worrying about bills, to the unthinkable. Selling the family farm, the land that's been in the family for generations. American farmers are more than just producers. They're the backbone of America. But now, they're staring at a $1.3 billion disaster that threatens not just their wallets, but their very identity. Is this $1.3 billion disaster just the beginning, or is there still hope for America's farmers? Stay tuned, because today we're not just talking about the problem. We're going to show you how American farmers can fight back. If you believe that American farmers deserve better, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Because together, we're going to make sure their voices are heard. You might be wondering, why does this $1.3 billion loss even matter? It's not just about dollars and cents. It's about the real pain behind those numbers. Bills that stack up higher than the grain silos. Loans that keep farmers up at night, wondering how they'll ever pay them off. It's about the fear, the kind that gnaws at you when you think about losing the family farm that's been in your blood for generations. Listen to what one farmer said on that other video. I can't sleep anymore. Every night it's the same question. How do I keep my land, my family, my life? That is the $1.3 billion disaster in human terms. Every dollar lost in exports is a child's college tuition, a tractor that can't be repaired, a farm that might be sold at auction. The U.S.-China trade war 2025 isn't just a headline on your phone. It's a battle that's draining the soul out of America's heartland. It's the feeling of being abandoned. No one is buying, but the bills keep coming. The price of fertilizer? Up. The cost of parts? Skyrocketing. Yet the phones are silent. No orders coming in. Farmers are left with fields of crops but no market. They feel alone, left behind. That's why this $1.3 billion matters. Because it's not just soybeans and corn, it's people, families, lives. This is the human cost of the U.S.-China trade war 2025. And it's why we need to keep talking about it. Because the fight is far from over. Stay with us. Because next, we're diving deeper into how these tariffs are backfiring on the very people they were supposed to protect. You won't want to miss this. Think tariffs are just numbers on a page? Think again, because for American farmers, these tariffs have become a nightmare that keeps them up at night. Picture this. Fertilizer deliveries that used to arrive in days, now stuck in a supply chain bottleneck that feels like it stretches all the way to China. Imagine trying to plant a field, but the parts you need to fix your tractor, they're sitting in a container somewhere overseas, trapped by the very same policies that were supposed to protect you. One farmer summed it up perfectly. My tractor's down and the parts are stuck overseas. That's the U.S.-China trade war 2025 in real time. What started as a strategy to make American farmers stronger is now turning their every move into a gamble. Need to repair your machinery? Good luck. The price of equipment is skyrocketing. Every repair, every part, more expensive than ever. Fertilizer? Harder to find, and even harder to afford. And while American farmers are stuck in this web of delays and price hikes, guess who's not waiting around? Brazil, Argentina. These countries are ready to grab every grain contract they can get their hands on. Once those markets are gone, it's not just a matter of, oh, they'll come back next year. Loyalty. In global trade, it's rare. When buyers find a cheaper, more reliable source, they stay. That's why the $1.3 billion disaster isn't just a number on a USDA report. It's a system breakdown that threatens the very lifeblood of American agriculture. The U.S.-China trade war 2025 has created a crisis that's bigger than any one farm. It's a challenge to the entire network that keeps farmers planting, harvesting, and feeding the world. But what about the emotional toll? The sleepless nights, the family dinners where no one can talk about the future. That's where we're headed next. Because for American farmers, the pain is more than financial. It's a wound that cuts deeper than any balance sheet ever could. This isn't just about soybeans and corn anymore. This is about souls being crushed under the weight of the U.S.-China trade war 2025. Imagine the weight of a $1.3 billion disaster, not on a spreadsheet, but on a farmer's heart, every night. Another sleepless hour staring at the ceiling. Hotline calls have doubled. Farmers too stressed to think straight. One farmer said it best. It's like I'm carrying the world on my shoulders. Every phone call could be the bank telling me it's over. American farmers are living a nightmare that doesn't end when the sun comes up. In small-town cafes, men who spent their lives feeding this nation now sit with tears in their eyes asking, "Will I be the last to farm this land?" That question echoes in every barn, every grain elevator, every dinner table from Iowa to Kentucky. It's not just a crop loss. It's a loss of identity, a loss of the right to call yourself a farmer. And that's why the $1.3 billion disaster hits so hard. Because it's not just about lost markets. It's about losing who you are. When a farmer looks in the mirror and sees someone who can't sell his harvest, who can't pay the bills, who might have to sell the family land, that's a pain no check from Washington can fix. The U.S.-China trade war 2025 didn't just spark an economic firestorm. It ignited a crisis in the hearts of every American farmer who thought they were part of something bigger than themselves. Now, they feel like outsiders in the very industry they built. Disconnected, alone, left wondering if they even belong anymore. American farmers deserve better than this. They deserve a government that fights for them. They deserve markets that respect their hard work. And they deserve to know that they're not alone in this 1.3B disaster. Next, we're going to talk about solutions. Because even in the darkest times, there's a way forward. And every American farmer deserves to hear it. Can American farmers really survive the U.S.-China trade war 2025? Let's talk about it. The government says it's got solutions. Farm aid packages, relief checks, support programs. But let's be honest. Many farmers have heard these promises before. The last time Washington sent checks, it felt like a Band-Aid on a broken bone. One farmer said, "Money's nice, but you can't buy back a market once it's gone." That is the reality of the U.S.-China trade war 2025. A $1.3 billion disaster can't be fixed overnight with a stack of checks. So what else is out there? Market diversification. That's what they're calling it. New trade deals with the UK and India. Sounds good on paper. But let's be real. These deals might help some products, But they'll never replace the sheer scale of the Chinese market. We're talking about billions of dollars in soybeans, corn, wheat. That's not something you just replace overnight. Still, there's hope. American farmers have always been survivors. And there's power in community, co-ops, direct marketing, local alliances. When the system breaks down, it's the people who step up. American farmers can pool resources, share machinery, connect with consumers directly. It's not easy, but it's a start. And it's proof that even in the darkest times, the American farmer doesn't give up. Let's be clear. The U.S.-China trade war 2025 may have sparked this crisis, but American farmers can fight back. They've faced droughts, floods, and storms. They know how to weather a fight. What they need now is support from each other, from their communities, from the people who believe in them. Because in unity, there's strength. No American farmer should feel alone in this $1.3 billion disaster. We stand with you. And up next, we're going to bring it all home. Because this story isn't just about survival. It's about what comes after. And trust me, you'll want to hear it. So let's bring it all together. We've seen how the U.S.-China trade war 2025 has turned what was once a promise of prosperity into a $1.3 billion disaster that's hit American farmers where it hurts most. Their families, their identity, their future. We've talked about the sleepless nights, the unpaid bills, the tears shed over kitchen tables and in small-town cafes. This crisis is more than just numbers on a report. It's a fight for the very soul of American agriculture. Because when American farmers lose, we all lose. This is about the American dream, the belief that hard work, determination, and community can overcome any obstacle. And even now, in the middle of this $1.3 billion disaster, that dream is still alive. So, what can you do? Start by supporting local farmers. Buy American grown. Choose products that keep our farmers on their land and their kids in college. Use your voice. Vote for fair trade policies that protect the people who feed us all. Share this video. Because the more people who know about the human cost of the U.S.-China trade war 2025, the more voices we have to demand change. American farmers are not just statistics. They're our neighbors, our friends, our family. They've stood by us through every crisis. Now it's our turn to stand by them. So if you believe that American farmers deserve better than a $1.3 billion disaster, if you believe in the American dream, if you believe that together we can weather any storm, then hit that like button. Share this message far and wide, subscribe to this channel, and stay connected. Because the fight is not over. Together we can help American farmers not just survive, but thrive. We stand with you. The future is in our hands. Let's make sure the U.S.-China trade war 2025 isn't the story of defeat, but the story of a comeback that proves once again, American farmers never quit.